I'm Not Ashamed. I'm Not Ashamed, produced by my favourite company in the entire world, Pureflix Entertainment, is a story based on the Columbine High School massacre. So to honour those killed in a real tragedy, this religious group decided to band together to make a movie benefiting off of that tragedy to continue shoving that religion down our throats. Awesome!
Totally.
The movie centres around the first of the 13 killed in the tragedy, Rachel Scott, who was a devoted Christian. Her real-life mother, Beth, discovered journals from her daughter and decided to use it to produce the feature film based on her writings, but almost immediately it received negative feedback. So much so, their trailer was actually banned from YouTube for 11 months. The producers actually accused the website of being biased against religion. No, we're biased against scumbags who use their daughter's death for profit.
You sound like an idiot.
Many were on this same agreement, finding it sick to use a tragedy not only for profit, but to push forth your own religious beliefs onto other people, specifically the death of your own child. Forbes magazine, however, defended it and claimed it is faith-based but is worthy of some praise as well, while other outlets like The Guardian slammed it for the complete opposite. But we're going to ignore what actually happened and just make up most of it anyway. So we open with real news footage of the day of the massacre before we hear...
What police and everyone else are looking for now is a reason.
Less than 2 minutes in, and I already need to resort to a clip from last year. Throughout the entire movie, people constantly question, why did Eric and Dylan shoot up their school? The two gunmen documented all of their planning constantly for a year before the shooting, explaining why they did it. Why, to this day, do people question it still? It makes no sense. Close friends of the killers have said it. Home videos of the killers themselves have said it. My point is, he made it clear the reason, which everybody chooses to ignore. There's a difference between a reason and an excuse. It's the reason, but it's definitely not an excuse. But you know what? It's fine. Because I'm sure the movie's going to clear up this question. I mean, why else would they ask it? Just be patient.
Interesting.
So we begin with Rachel Scott as a kid looking at some graffiti, promising to later touch the lives of millions of people. I would call this really lazy foreshadowing, but apparently Rachel actually did make this prediction when she was 9, so I'll let it slide. Unless her parents are just making up the whole thing, which honestly wouldn't surprise me.
Who cares?
Her and her sister watch as their father storms out of the house and they have to come to terms with their parents getting divorced. Well, you know, I have to say, movie, so far we are 5 minutes in and you've only given us one plot detail, so maybe you have learned from your mistakes. Well done, Pureflix.
Now that your dad doesn't live here anymore, we're not going to have as much as we used to. So each morning we're going to pray for what we need, okay?
Okay, so what happens when God doesn't pay your bills? And he doesn't get you food when you're starving. You're just gonna slap your kids like, oh, you little shit, you didn't pray hard enough! Great parenting.
Unbelievable. This is so lame.
So they then go shopping. So what the hell did they pray for? The clothes to become cheaper? Does God get you a discount at Walmart? What the hell? Dear God, please give me a sandwich. Amen.
That's just what worked for me.
As Rachel tries out some hats, she teleports to herself the year before the shooting and vents to her friends about how nobody notices her and she can't seem to get any guy. All girls out there, calling all girls, right? I don't know if you know about this. We are absolutely terrified to talk to you. Okay? All you have to do is come up to us. Say hi and we're yours!
It's not gonna happen.
Regardless, she sneaks out of her room at night to go to a pool party where she begins chatting to this guy called Alex. I will admit a few things. Unlike God's Not Dead, this one does seem like it's at least trying to build characters and trying to get us to care about these people. Alex is a smooth talking guy who is very charming and sweet, and it's actually quite adorable to see them flirt. And he does mention being spiritual, but not religious, and it doesn't come across as too forced. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still not 100% accurate to how human beings talk.
If that's what you want. You know, I want what you want. But just in case you wanted to know, I want you to want to come in the pool.
But hey, it's a start.
Fine.
But oh no, she sneaks back in and gets busted by her mum.
Rachel Joy, I prayed over pillows tonight.
Oh my god! Well, if you would have prayed over chairs, maybe she would have been home sooner, but pillows?
What if something had happened? I need to know where my children are.
Listen, love, compared to the two killers, I think your parenting's doing just fine.
No, not really.
So she gets disciplined before going to this farm. For some reason. This is never touched upon, never mentioned again. She never comes back here, we never realise why she's here. But yeah, sure. Basically, she feels lost and doesn't know where to turn, resisting God. And then suddenly she goes to church and is now a Christian. Where the hell did this come from? We get this big resistance. One random ass stranger walks up and says, hey, believe in God. Okie dokie. This could have been an amazing transition altogether, but they rushed it in just a couple of seconds. And is this really how Christians pray? She looks like she's about to queef a load.
Not sure what that means.
Anyway, her aunt gives her a diary to write down her feelings before we skip to August of 1998. She starts to get bullied and we're introduced to the famous White Hats. Yeah, White Hat, you're a jockey douchebag. It makes even less sense because Rachel is mates with the popular girls. So again, why is she being picked on?
Hey, this is KJ. He just came from California, plays linebacker. KJ, this is Gabby and Madison.
Hey,
What's up?
welcome to Columbine.
Good to meet you.
Let's bounce.
See you around. See what I mean? Guys don't even see me. Hey, we're working on it.
By not introducing her. Wait, what? I mean, it's proven later that all it takes is, hey, she's with me, she's cool now, boom, she's popular. And after trying to be Edgar Wright for a few seconds, we meet one of the killers, Eric Harris, being picked on, and he doesn't take it too kindly.
I'll kill you, Riggs.
Didn't sound natural. Poorly acted. Forced foreshadowing. And was nothing like the killer at all. I know I always harp on the real events, but why the hell make a movie based on this tragedy if you can't even be bothered to research the real tragedy? Eric was picked on so often he just put up with it. He never questioned it like this. He never argued back. He just took it, and any documentary you watch would tell you this.
They're walking through the halls, and you can see a wall of jocks coming at them. You get the hell out of the way. It's their hall, their world. And Eric and Dylan didn't get out of the way. And so you see the jocks lay their elbows right into Eric and almost knock the camera out of his hand, and you don't hear them bitching because they're so used to it. They don't go, what the hell was that? They go, uh-huh, and they just move on because it's so commonplace.
So the teacher begins telling the kids about Nazis, Hitler, and natural selection, as Eric seems rather intrigued by this. I won't say this is forced or anything because no, Eric actually did worship Hitler, so good job. But hey, let's see how Rachel can mess things up for us.
Do you ever feel like you can't see your future? You know, like it might be your last year?
Yes. They are now portraying Rachel as a goddamn psychic. She didn't predict the future, you morons! I mean, why do this? Why not just depict her life accepting faith before the tragedy? Why turn her into that so bloody raven?
Yeah, that's totally confusing.
So she's about to get into trouble by doodling, but Alex saves her, which is again quite cute and charming, and they continue to bond at a party. We then meet her family, her brother, who actually survived the tragedy, so we don't care about him, the arsehole.
It's not helping.
Her brother just kind of plays the guitar and disrespects their stepdad, and Rachel wants to borrow the car but gets refused until she forces him to smile, and at least she's coming across as really likeable, so I guess they succeeded on that front. Meanwhile, she also works at a restaurant and has to kick out a homeless bird, but a random onlooker pays for her food to allow her to stay. I think this is to show Rachel realizing that she's actually luckier than she thinks. But then it cuts directly to her bitching and complaining. And now she's struggling to accept God. When? Well, earlier, all it took was some bird coming along and saying, hey, you believe in God. All right, yeah, cheers, mate. And now all of a sudden she's struggling. It feels like the people who wrote the script just they just wrote one scene each. They had like 2 million writers. They just wrote one setup. Didn't even care if it was consistent with the rest of the scenes. Just, yeah, here she believes in God. Here she doesn't. Make up your mind.
Amen.
So at a church group thing, Rachel tries talking to this random dude, but he quickly leaves and she follows him, quite upset. Why? I mean, we find out later that she doesn't find him hot or anything, and even then, she's with Alex. There is literally no reason whatsoever for her to follow him outside, especially in the dark.
What are you doing here?
Kind of rude for you to just walk off like that.
Kind of rude for you to follow me out in the dark for no reason like this. Leave me alone.
No.
So he admits he doesn't like church and only goes for the free food, and she offers to help, but why? I mean, I get that her heart's in the right place, but she's just coming across as creepy. He constantly tells her to leave him alone, and she doesn't listen.
I've never had a big brother before.
Because that's not creepy at all. I mean, he starts shoplifting and she just stands there smiling at him. If this was a guy following a woman around, people would be calling the police. She suddenly became really annoying and creepy. Go away, you weirdo.
Good idea.
So it turns out his mum is sick, he's homeless and resorting to steal food. She invites him to some group thing and then becomes even more threatening.
If you don't, I'll come find you.
Hello? Please? Jesus Christ, she has a boyfriend and is literally stalking this other dude. How is this okay? They've made their heroine look like a complete serial killer. Anyway, he introduces himself as Nathan before she rushes off with her sister. Meanwhile, she chills with her friends who trash talk about other people, and Rachel sticks up for them, obviously showing that she's against bullying. But bullying was the reason she took a bullet in the head. I'm sorry, but we are 34 minutes in. And this movie has yet to show the actual horrors of bullying. I get that you don't want to excuse the killers or anything, but you kind of have to show more. You've shown the bullying in brief stints, but you've not really developed on it. This is what led to the tragedy. You can make a Columbine movie, show the killers being bullied and not excuse it, developing on the ignorance of others, them ignoring what's going on constantly, their slow deterioration into madness. Again, they've shown bullying, so they're clearly not entirely opposed to it, yet they don't go head on. It just doesn't make sense to me.
All right. Thanks.
Meanwhile, the two killers, Eric and Dylan, reenact a real home video of the actual gunman in the canteen, which is a really nice touch, even using real dialogue from Eric Harris.
Get rid of all the fat, retarded, crippled, stupid, ignorant, rich, worthless people of this world.
Yeah.
No one is worthy of this planet. Only me and who I choose.
And they target the white hats, one of which is Rachel's brother, which is weird because I don't recall him being one in real life. Who cares?
Thanks, man.
And then we, of course, see Eric and Dylan playing violent video games. Yes, they did this in real life, but these clips of the Nazi stuff and then the video games, they're only on screen for a couple of seconds, so it seems like you're blaming it on these despite us already knowing what fucking caused it. So this is just lazy. Yeah, video games did it, sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again, these are all just tiny snippets throughout the film. They're random, not focused on, which makes them ultimately pointless because we learn nothing about the killers or why they did this. If you didn't research the real event, like the writers of this film, and then you watch this, you're obviously going to be like, oh, so video games and religion did it. No, they didn't, you morons.
It leaves a hole inside, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, Rachel manages to hunt Nathan down and somehow becomes even creepier.
You want to come inside?
No. I don't.
I'll go play in traffic if you don't.
Why are you portraying your dead daughter as this creepy psychopathic serial killer? Come play with me or I'll kill myself. What is wrong with you sickos? Anyway, Nathan opens up and reveals that his mum is a heroin addict. Wonderful. Now, in all seriousness, his character is actually the most interesting part of this entire film, and he wasn't even a real person. He becomes reluctant after revealing his situation and refuses to let anyone else in. It's quite intriguing, and I will admit, religion isn't actually shoved down the viewer's throat as much as I expected. Meanwhile, Dylan overslept and failed to give Eric a lift, which is weird because in real life, Eric had his own car. Just odd because you'd think there'd be a reason for this change, but nope. It's pointless.
Maybe.
And Eric refuses to take the bus with the bullies, getting rather angry at Dylan.
If you're not here in 5 minutes, you're dead.
At least that one sounded more natural and genuine. Meanwhile, Rachel's gay best friend here introduces her to a guy called Dave, who's supposed to be the counterpart for the real-life Richard Castaldo who was with Rachel when she died. I guess the real Richard just didn't want his name attached to this pile of shit, and I can't blame him.
That's awesome.
And then we finally cut back to Alex. Yeah, I completely forgot about him too.
Step on up here, my muse. This is where it all begins.
Why that random close-up of their hands? Just seemed pointless. So they practice the play together on stage as it's interlapped with exposition discovering that he also has no parents. There are a whole lot of subplots in this film too, but at least this time they're introduced slowly and they really are cute and adorable together, and it is really well shot. These compliments are hurting my brain.
But is that even possible?
And as they bond, the montage does show them growing closer really well, and it's decently put together with nice dialogue.
Was that acting or is that real?
Or aren't they the same?
Just so damn cute. So we cut back to Eric and Dylan because I guess they have something to do with Columbine maybe, where they claim to hate the school.
I hate this school.
That's pretty much it. Meanwhile, Nathan gets a job because apparently it's just that easy, and we also discover more backstory.
I meant to ask you, what's with the dog tags?
Oh, he's my grandfather's. He fought in World War II.
Were you close to your grandpa?
Jesus Christ, it's about a school shooting! Stop overcomplicating the subplots! And he even asks to meet Alex, indicating that he's jealous, which is weird because he's always referred to Rachel as his little sister. Incest is a sin, mate.
Are you sure?
But hey, it's Rachel's 17th birthday, so maybe we'll get something better here.
Did you make a wish?
I bet she forgot.
Yes, of course.
For a long and happy life. Too soon?
Are you serious?
And she even gets a damn car for her birthday! A car! I'd be lucky to get a scarf from my parents! Are you gonna stop bitching about how crap your life is now, you spoiled bitch?
No.
Anyway, she sits with Alex to talk every guy's worst nightmare, where they are in their relationship. But suddenly, for no reason, his charming personality is entirely gone. And no, this character was not a real person. I mean, Rachel did have an ex-boyfriend, but there's been no indications that anything happened between them that's portrayed in this movie. So they specifically created this character just to turn him into a douchebag for no reason. They've literally made an asshole only to give us extra sympathy for their daughter. She got shot in the head. She doesn't need any more sympathy. This guy was so charming, and now he says he doesn't want a commitment. What the hell is going on? And then she continues to bitch in her new car. What are you even talking about? She actually says,
I have nothing to complain about.
exactly, so shut the fuck up. She's basically, oh, I can't let God in. I can't accept God. It's too difficult. Why is it difficult? I don't understand. You accepted God earlier. Her friends teased her slightly about it in like one throwaway line.
I will be so glad when you get over this whole Jesus freak phase.
That's it. Why is it difficult? Just accept God for the love of God.
You don't?
So her parents find empty alcohol bottles in her car, and despite them believing that it's not hers, they're still pissed off. And maybe I'm too laid back, but why is this a problem? I mean, I know the age over there is 21, but come on. Drinking at 17 is pretty standard. I don't see what the problem here is.
Maybe you should just quit the play.
And where the hell did that come from? Oh well, Nathan, please save me from this stupid writing.
I don't know why you mess around with that guy.
You know, of all people, I didn't think you would judge him.
I'm not judging. Rachel, I think you're being stupid.
He says after she stalked him for months. So basically, he's jealous of Alex and thinks she can do a lot better. And it is so obvious that Alex is ditching her after the play. Rachel keeps discussing with people that he wants to talk about their relationship after it. And it's so blatant Stevie Wonder could have called it. But hey, at least Nathan finally gets to meet Alex.
Alex wrote the play.
So what'd you think?
I liked everything about it, except you.
Ooh, harsh critic.
I think Rachel can take care of herself. I don't know what she needs you for.
Nick, stop it! What are you doing?
Well, Alex clearly just antagonized him right in front of you. So, shut up, bitch, he did nothing wrong. Anyway, they chill at the post-play party, which is apparently a thing, before Rachel and Alex begin making out, but she stops things from going any further.
Have you seen Alex?
I thought he was with you. No, we were making out.
TMI, girl.
But yet earlier you were completely fine talking about it.
He kissed me too.
Do screenwriting classes just not exist anymore?
Not like that.
Anyway, she searches for Alex and finds him with her friend Madison. But why? This goes completely against both of their characters, makes no sense, and just gives Rachel more sympathy and more shit to bitch about. This is overkill! No pun intended.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Eric and Dylan practice shooting, reenacting more real footage, and I must admit, they do actually resemble the killers quite a bit. Can't fault them for casting. But again, what's the point of these clips? They don't at any point dive into the reasons they're doing this, so the entire movie is ultimately pointless.
It's so sweet.
And now is when people begin to bully Rachel for her faith, but why? As explained before, I've not known religious people to actually experience this without them shoving it down other people's throats. But even if this does happen, she is now portrayed as a heavily devoted Christian, but where did this come from? The last we heard, she was resisting and couldn't let God in, and now she's the biggest Christian going. What is going on? Can someone check the damn script?
No.
So Rachel talks to her obvious lesbian friend, but she too rejects her, and we do actually get quite an emotional scene, where she gets flashbacks to all of her heartache, leading to a kind of suicide attempt. She walks atop a roof about to jump, but ends up backing out.
Hey, no, I'm so sorry.
Hey, Ann, I'm so acting. So she rushes back to Nathan and claims he's the reason she couldn't go through with it. Just not enough to, you know, date him though, is it?
Yeah, that'll work.
So they all decide to pray for Rachel to be healed of her pain. And then she got shot in the face instead. Thanks, God!
I'm not gonna let that happen again.
So the bullying continues. Again, this is weird. We're supposed to sympathize with her being bullied, yet the killers were bullied, so we're supposed to sympathize with them. What the heck? This movie makes no sense! Anyway, her and Nathan continue to bond, which is really charming, but they still don't date! Before she attempts to reconcile with Madison, he blows her off, so she sits with the girl they were picking on before. Obvious lesbian soon joins them, and then we get more of the killers using real dialogue preparing for the massacre.
It's gonna be like Oklahoma City, the LA riots, and World War II, all mixed into one.
Now, what's really weird about this is that Dylan is actually portrayed as an innocent earlier on in the film. Yeah, see, in real life, sure, Eric was obviously the brains and orchestrator of the entire thing, but Dylan joined more than a year before the massacre and was heavily involved in all of the planning. Now, the film has Dylan earlier even say,
Yeah, if only this was Columbine. Bam!
Maybe it could be.
You're sick, man.
You're the one who brought it up.
I wasn't serious.
and then, without a single sign of transition, he's suddenly a psychopathic killer. It makes no sense, and even worse is that the original script had Dylan be subtly portrayed as homosexual, which he wasn't. Why do that? Oh, he was evil. He was evil, right? I know it'd be really funny. Let's make him gay. Yeah, real mature guys.
I could see that.
So in class, Rachel spews some bollocks about compassion and her faith, but nobody seems to listen.
I just wanted to be real with you guys and let you know who I am. Jesus gave his life for me.
Only to somehow come back to life, making it not really a sacrifice.
Eric and Dylan are up next and present their home video of a short film where they shoot up some bullies, and I must admit this did really happen and it's really well done and accurate. It has ominous music building a really eerie atmosphere and is well built up, but it's the only time that tension is actually built well. I'm sorry, if you're going to make a Columbine movie and show the dangers of school shootings, you have to dive into the psyches of the gunman. I'm sorry, it's something you just kinda have to do.
You can handle the pain.
And they then prove my point by having this black guy discover that Rachel's a Christian and he finds it awesome. Well, actually, he says,
That was dope.
so why does anyone else pick on her for it? I don't get it. And then, I shit you not, Eric and Dylan actually corner her on the stairs and threaten her. This never happened. This is just further proof that the producers, her own parents, are trying to say that yes, they singled her out. Of course they did. That's why she was the first victim. It's all religion. It's based on religion. No, it wasn't. Why are you skewing facts just to further blow the job of your goddamn religion? Who cares? She decides to take a gay best friend to prom instead. Leaving Nathan all alone. Screw him, I guess. Weirdly, Alex even approaches her at prom like nothing happened, even claiming he's still her mentor. Do these writers know any human being ever?
Oh, look. Playing our song.
We don't have a song.
I know. I wish we would have, though.
Well, if you didn't bang her best friend.
I wish it didn't go down like that. You know, I never meant to be drawn to her energy.
Wow, I have heard a lot of excuses for cheating in my time, but I think that one tops them all. But Rachel doesn't even seem angry or upset at Madison anymore and just wants to make amends, so I guess the film does show us all the art of forgiving.
I don't even know why I'm here.
Oh, same reason as everybody else. A paycheck.
Why can't I see my future?
Oh, shut up! It's your future! Of course you can't see it! That's why it's your future! If you could see it, it'd be your present or your past! You ain't making it to college!
If God loves me so much, why does he put me through so much pain?
Exactly why I became an atheist. So Rachel starts talking to this mentally disabled kid called Austin randomly. Do you like her yet? She even asks him out on a date, but won't ask Nathan out because... And the black guy from earlier even stops him and lets him hang out with him, gaining him immediate acceptance, proving my point earlier where Rachel's friends wouldn't do the same for her. Proofread, guys. Just give it a once-over sometimes. I'm just saying. Meanwhile, Eric and Dylan continue to prepare for the attack and mimic real tapes where they mock everyone for having no idea. And again, it's accurate, well done, and creepy as hell.
If only we would have reached them sooner. Or found this tape.
If only we would have searched their rooms. If only we would have asked the right questions.
But again, they don't develop or build on it, so it is still ultimately pointless.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, April the 20th, 1999. We have a clear, sunny spring morning in the Denver metro. On this day, 110 years ago, Adolf Hitler was born.
Why would the radio announce that it was Hitler's birthday? I mean, Eric and Dylan were going to do the massacre on April 19th, but it was delayed, so them doing it on Hitler's birthday was an accident, so there is no connection. Research.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Anyway, they started setting the bombs in the cafeteria before Rachel arranges lunch with that guy we saw for all of 20 seconds earlier that she just met. In real life, it was actually her best friend, but you know, details, details. Meanwhile, Rachel is doodling in class.
13 tears. Why 13? I don't know yet.
Because this writing is awfully forced and Rachel is a psychic. And now, Madison's entirely fine with her. Yeah, basically Rachel gave her a letter to read and now they're best friends again. What the hell could she have written that she didn't already say? This is just a lazy way to tie up all loose ends before her head gets blown apart. So her and Dave talk about his parents' divorce, but we barely know him, so we don't care. It's just random filler. Anyway, Eric and Dylan spot her and realise that the bombs have failed to detonate. And I will admit, this shot of them in the distance, out of focus, creeping up on them is really bone-chilling.
Do you still believe in God?
You know I do.
Then go be with him.
Guess what? This happened to an entirely different student.
You believe in God?
Yes.
Why, huh?
And by the way, yes, when the stories first broke, it was believed that it was said to be Rachel. But then Richard Castaldo, you know, the guy you were adapting in your movie, confirmed that they spoke no words to Rachel, and it was realised that it was a mistake. He said it to the girl in the library. Yeah, they killed her because she was religious. No, they didn't. It wasn't video games and it wasn't religion. All right, you are scum. You are not only making money off of your dead daughter. I am genuinely sorry for your loss. I am really sorry for your loss. But this is no excuse. You are banking on her death and you are profiting, skewing facts to make it all about religion, to use this propaganda bullshit to shove it down people's throats even more and say, oh yeah, it was all about religion. They said this to her. No, they didn't. You're full of shit. This movie is full of shit. You are scum. And you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. And then, I guess nobody else was important because it just cut straight to the news footage after that. Yeah, forget the other 12 that died and 25 that were wounded.
I can only say tonight, that the prayers of the American people are with you.
Well, they were with Rachel, and that didn't really do her any good.
Hey, Rach. It's me, Maddie. I miss you.
Now I have no one else to steal boyfriends from! So Nathan gives her eulogy at church, but he still makes it about himself and how miserable his life has been and that she was an angel sent to save him. Just not date him for some reason. Meanwhile, her mum finds the handprint in her room and it's meant to mean stuff, blah blah. What love? She constantly resisted. 1 minute she loved Jesus, next time she didn't want to know Jesus. What are you talking about? And then we close with admittedly a nice little tribute to the 13 victims. And that was I'm Not Ashamed. Is it worse than God's Not Dead? No, but it's probably more offensive. At least with this, the religious side is toned down, and it does seem like they at least want to tell a decent story here, and they just failed. There's no research done outside of religion good and killers bad. When we do see the gunman, it is accurate, but not developed on very well. The historical facts of what happened aren't actually accurate. The characters are bland except Nathan, or they make drastic changes for no reason, but it's still benefiting off of a murder with religion as their key. I'd say leave this disgusting mess for cynics like me to make fun of.